Welcome to Living Life in the End for the Successful and Fulfilled Woman. I am your host, Dr. Stephanie D. Barnes, the liberated lawyer. I help women to get everything they desire in life by equipping them with powerful strategies to achieve the fulfillment they desire and deserve. Who said you can't have it all? Clearly, they did not know about living life in the end. When women make powerful decisions and create great strategies, they can have everything they desire in life. Girlfriend, forget about choosing between being successful or fulfilled. You can be successful and fulfilled. It's time. It's time for you to get everything you desire and deserve. It's time for you to live your life on purpose. It's time for you to live a life that is fulfilled, meaningful, and full of joy. It's time for you to walk boldly in the power of your decisions. If you're going to be in this world, you need to be fulfilled in this life. Life is too long to be unfulfilled. Join me for another episode of Living Life in the End, where you learn how to live fulfilled, fit, and free. This episode was brought to you by Rejuvenate, Radiate, Celebrate You Retreat, taking place November 15th through the 17th, 2024, at the Limelight Inn in Dahlonega, Georgia. Join us for a weekend of transformation, rejuvenation, and empowerment. You can discover yourself, connect with like-minded women, and emerge renewed and inspired. Our thoughtfully curated programming at the Rejuvenate, Radiate, Celebrate You retreat is designed to guide you through a comprehensive journey of transformation, rejuvenation, and self-discovery. You can join us for a harmonious blend of insightful sessions, invigorating activities, and meaningful interactions, all aimed at helping you embrace your fullest potential. If you are ready to join our golden flutter of women committed to being the highest and best version of themselves, please email the team at christopoulos.com with the subject line Golden Flutter, and you will receive an invitation. We hope that you will join this transformative experience to rejuvenate, radiate, celebrate you. Hey, it's time for Musing from the Mind of Dr. SDB, where I share provocative thoughts to help you live your life in the end. Girl, I've got something on my mind. You know, the past few weeks have been full of travel and just an influx of information, inspiration, and invigoration. I have had the pleasure over the past few weeks to travel to a couple of conferences, and I love going to conferences because at least the ones that I choose, are really great ways to exchange information, exchange thoughts and ideas, and to be around like-minded people. And I got an opportunity to return to the Harvard campus. As you may remember, I graduated from Harvard Law School, and we used to have or have had over the past few years celebration of Black alumni. And these events are usually held every 5 years. I went in 2011 and 2016. And of course, COVID threw everything off, and we've not had a celebration of Black alumni since 2016. This year, they had a Black Alumni Weekend or Black Alumni Gathering from all of the schools. So the medical school, the college, the law school, Kennedy School, business school, etc. All of the schools of Harvard University came together for an incredible weekend, and it was called the Global Change Makers Conference. And oh my gosh, y'all, my nerd antennas were just like on fire. It was so wonderful to be in an environment where everyone was accomplished in their own right, doing meaningful things in the world, hearing about what people have been doing. And the conference itself was designed to be a series of mini TED style talks. And so we had, panels that talked about all kinds of things: AI, menopause, the future of Blacks on Harvard's campus and Ivy League campuses and college campuses across the country in the wake of the recent Supreme Court rulings that have made race conscious admission policies discriminatory, or found that they're discriminatory, but just all of these invigorating ideas. And I had such a great time. And I've written a couple of pieces, one will come out soon, but it was just a really invigorating environment that just heightened my creativity and ideas. I love when I go to these conferences because it really inspires me to create, because I get inspired by something I hear or a conversation. And it also just seems to open up my creative portals. And I come away from these conferences with just such great ideas, and then must find the time to execute them. But I went to that conference, and then a couple of weeks later went to the Redefining Wealth Live conference here in Atlanta. And it was just amazing. I spent 2 days, well, really 3 days, immersed in a community of driven, purpose filled women. And I cannot tell you how this experience just invigorated me. I know I've used that word a lot, but that's the best way to describe it, because it was more than just a conference, it was more than just a gathering of people, but it was a celebration of empowerment and connection and self discovery. And when I reflect back on these two activities, it reaffirms something that I believe, and that is that there's power in community. And as high achieving women, many times we attempt to do everything on our own, and we can. We certainly can. We certainly are capable. We have most of the skill set needed, and we truly can do it all. But I have found that when I'm in community, I can do even more. I can do even more for a couple of reasons. One, I just get inspiration from the people who are in the room, so to speak. When I was at Harvard as well as at Redefining Wealth Live, I mean, I could just feel the energy. I could feel the energy in the room. And it was truly exciting to be among other women, in particular, Redefining Wealth was mostly women. There were literally two good men there. And of course, the Harvard was a diverse, gender diverse experience. But it is beautiful to be in spaces where you don't have to apologize for wanting more. You don't have to apologize for wanting to grow and learn and transform. You're in a space where you're with your people. You are with people who understand what it means to want more, do more, live more, be more abundant. And, even though each of us are there and we are on our own unique journey, it's great to be united by the desire to want more. And with the Harvard situation or the Harvard conference, it was just great to be immersed with other people who are doing great things in their own rights. Some are CEOs of companies, some have their own businesses, some are great physicians, great educators. I mean, people in all different spectrums of work and purpose, and who have a common denominator of excellence. And with the Redefining Wealth experience, it was similar. All of us were there because we're passionate about bringing our purpose to life, and we share a common philosophy, or we have a shared approach, I would say, to how we achieve excellence in our own spaces. And it's just truly beautiful to experience that sense of connection and that shared experience. It's clear to me that, when women come together in community, something happens, something magical happens. And, barriers come down. There's a collective willingness to be vulnerable and to share openly. And here's the kicker, to support one another's growth. And that's the second element that I find is very important in being in community, and that's support. Support. And support comes in the method of encouraging others and giving vital feedback that helps you to improve, or just affirms that the idea you have is an idea worth having. Sometimes we need that. We don't need to rely on others to validate our ideas and our purpose, but it is truly wonderful when others can provide us support by not only encouraging us, but because of their collective skill sets and individual skill sets, they can add value and support you and saying, hey, that's a great idea. Why don't you consider doing XYZ? Or that's a great idea. I can connect you with ABC. Community is truly powerful. And another thing that is, well, I'd say the third thing that is so beautiful about being in community is accountability. Accountability is incredibly important because, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is about human nature, we will honor commitments to other people. We will honor commitments when other people know that we've made the commitment. And it is easy to come up with an idea, come up with a plan, a strategy, and then back out of executing it because nobody knows you were doing it in the first place. There's no repercussions, there's no backlash, there's nothing. You just didn't do it. You know you didn't do it, but no one else does. But I tell you, when you publish to the world, and world, of course, is relative, that you plan to do something, I don't know about you, but it adds pressure, but not negative pressure, but it just fuels me to keep going because I'm like, look, I told these people I was going to do this, and I don't want to come back and say, well, I got tired. I got scared. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't think it really was going to work out anyway, so I quit. Who wants to do that? So, when we're in community, we can be around other people who won't let us punk out on ourselves, quite honestly. They will encourage us and hold us accountable and say, didn't you say that you were going to publish your book this year? Didn't you say that you were going to launch this new product? Didn't you say that your purpose is to help women to live a life that is meaningful, fulfilled, fit, and free? You know, when we are in community, we can be around others who will help us to be accountable to ourselves. And I'll say the fourth benefit of being in community is being in a safe space, creating safe spaces. Now, not all spaces are safe. And so when I say being in community, by the way, I just hope you know, I'm not talking about just any old community. I'm not talking about any old group of people. I'm talking about communities that are aligned with your mindset, where you desire to go, and that are designed. That's the important thing. Communities that are designed to facilitate your growth in some type of way. So when we are in true communities that are aligned with our desires and purpose and mindset, it's can be a safe space. And many times we will hesitate to share our struggles and our challenges. We can be afraid of judgment or misunderstanding. But when you're in a nurturing space, a true community, vulnerability is not shunned. Nobody looks at you like, why she telling all her business? Why can't she keep that to herself? They understand the strength it takes to be vulnerable, because many people will have misconceptions about vulnerability and think that when you show your vulnerability, you're being weak. Not at all. It takes a lot of strength to be vulnerable, particularly in a community of other people. So when you are in a nurturing community, they recognize that strength and they recognize that, wow, I'm going to honor who she is. I'm going to honor what she's sharing, and I'm going to hold space for her so that she can express this very important thought and we can support her in this moment. So, when I go to conferences that are nurturing like this, I am able to see people, women, thought leaders, open up about their fears and doubts and aspirations and creating space for their own personal breakthroughs. One of the great things about the design of the Harvard Global Changemakers community is it was designed to be able to share provocative thoughts and not be fearful of someone taking the thought out of context or recording it. There were different rules in place that allowed us to openly express how we felt about the issues that were being discussed. And at Redefining Wealth Live, just even that community, again, was designed to offer truly safety or true safety that would facilitate people being willing to be vulnerable and to share it. And the fifth thing that I would say is great about a community is if it's the right community, when it is the right community, you can show up authentically. And when you show up authentically, you allow others to do the same. And that's why the right community will appreciate your vulnerability, will demand your authenticity, and will foster trust and allow you to build deeper relationships. And the best thing I would say about being in community, and I guess this is number six, is that you realize you're not alone in your challenges. There are so many times where we are suffering in silence, or we are in anguish alone, or we are struggling in isolation. And when you are doing something big or going through a hard time, the natural inclination can be to withdraw. I know I do. I know I do. That is one of, I would say, my biggest opportunities. I'm not going to call it a fault. I'm just going to acknowledge it as an opportunity for my growth. And it's something that I'm committing to in this very season, honestly. You know, my tendency is when I am overwhelmed or dealing with a lot of things, my first reaction is to um, withdraw, to go into isolation and to be alone. And honestly, for me, that's the worst thing that I can do, because when I am alone and in my thoughts, I can talk myself out of things. Or even if I'm really productive, I may not have the benefit of getting input from others or working in concert with others. So when you are in a safe community, you have the ability to realize, one, you're not alone in your challenge, and two, be around other people who are experiencing similar challenges or have overcome the very thing that you're struggling with, and you're able to grow for each other. And the most beautiful thing about being in community is that you light the path for others. And I guess that would be number 7, is you get to showcase your own value and add value to others. And many times we have all of this great experience, we have all of these great insights, but because we are in isolation, we don't get to share that with anyone else. And when you are in a nurturing community, you get to be a light for others. Because that's one thing that I really enjoy about going to conferences, not just learning from the people who are there, but adding value, because my voice matters. My voice adds value. And when I'm in an environment where I can encourage someone or enlighten someone or enrich someone else's life, I get to become a light for others. And so the thing that is beautiful about being in community, another thing that's beautiful is that, yeah, I guess this would be number 8, is that you can be empowered through your shared growth. One of the most beautiful things that I have experienced with these last 2 communities that I've been in is that the empowerment that rippled throughout the room. I remember at the Global Changemakers Conference, there was an opening session that had a prayer, and we were instructed to hold hands. And so, literally, this entire room of hundreds of people held hands as we prayed. And it was the most powerful moment. I literally could feel the energy passing from person to person, our individual energy, our collective energy. And it really was very powerful. And even in at Redefining Wealth, for example, when I was there, whether it was a group session or hearing the speaker, the main speaker, of course, was Patrice Washington, who hosted the event, but she brought in some excellent women and men who just brought incredible wisdom. And it's beautiful to be in an environment where you get to exchange wisdom and inspiration. Because if you're truly in community and not just going to a conference, there is a difference. When you go to a conference, you just go, you take some notes, you learn a little something, and you leave and you go back and nothing happens differently. When you are in community, it is active participation in each other's growth. It's more than just listening and learning. You actually get connected to other people. And here's the best part is you get connected to your own vision and purpose. And when you are in these environments, it goes far beyond individual empowerment. It becomes an exercise in collective empowerment where you lift each other up and rise together. So I have been, committed to getting myself in community. So I am about to join a mastermind that begins in January for the purpose of being in community. Even though everything that I desire to do, I can do it by myself. It may take me longer, it may be a little harder, or I may do it just as well, but it is important for me to be in community. So I'm investing in myself so that I can be in an environment where I can tap into the collective energy of others, I can inspire others, and I can accelerate my growth. And I am committed to also creating community for other women. As you may have heard, or may have, if you've been following me, you may know that I have a retreat coming up in November. It's called the Rejuvenate, Radiate, Celebrate You Retreat. And it's happening November 15th through the 17th. And me and my partner, Krista Owens. We are the Christopherus Collective as a business entity, but the two of us are bringing together our individual strengths, skill sets, and commitment to being fulfilled, fit, and free to create a community for women to experience the same. And I cannot tell you how excited I am about the retreat. It is and will be a sacred space, and we have designed every element of the retreat to ensure that the women who come together will have an opportunity to reflect and renew and rediscover our purpose. Because I want the women who are part of our golden flutter. That's what we call it, because we are transforming individually, and we will fly collectively and fly individually. But I want the women who are attending this retreat to be able to create meaningful connections and support one another on your respective journeys of personal transformation, because certainly you can transform on your own, but it is truly beautiful when you're able to transform along with others, because it's a ripple effect. There's a ripple effect of community, because when you see another person grow, it inspires your own, and you're able to empower each other. So during this weekend, we will embrace our personal journeys and celebrate our strengths and create a powerful network of support that will continue way beyond the retreat. And, this is the perfect time of the year. It's right before the holidays. And I know that, we're all busy. We've got work planned. We're trying to wrap down or wind down for the year. But this is one weekend that is well worth the investment of time and resources to be there, because in today's fast-paced world, it's so easy to feel isolated. And even though we're connected more than ever, we've got social media out the wahoo, it is important to have an intentional community that provides a safe space where you can be yourself, where you can explore your growth and receive the encouragement you need to keep moving forward. So I want to extend an invitation to you. And I know that there is a woman or few that have been looking for an opportunity to find a space that's just for them, to find a space where they can be themselves, explore their growth, and be in a community where they can support, uplift, and celebrate together. And so that's exactly why Krista and I have planned the Rejuvenate, Radiate, Celebrate You retreat. I want women to experience what I feel when I'm in a nurturing community, like when I went to the Global Changemakers Conference, when I went to Redefining Wealth Live. I want the women who attend this retreat to leave with a heart full of gratitude and inspiration. And it is my commitment. It really is my commitment to commit to create experiences where women can have and receive time for themselves to experience a weekend of personal growth. So I invite you to join us at the Rejuvenate, Radiate, Celebrate You retreat, November 15th through the 17th. And it's going to be a transformative weekend. We have personalized coaching, engaging workshops. We have a party plan, because what type of transformation happens without a celebration? We need to celebrate ourselves and celebrate each other. So every night we have something great planned for the women who will be attending. And so all you have to do is get there. The cost of the retreat covers, or the registration covers, your hotel, it covers your food and all the materials and everything associated with the retreat. All you have to do is get yourself there. And it's going to be held at the Limelight Inn in Dahlonega, Georgia. The properties are just beautiful and peaceful. And we have curated a welcome bag that is going to really add to your experience. We want you to be comfortable. You don't have to dress up. Over the course of the weekend, you'll have opportunities to focus on mindfulness and intentional goal setting. And we're going to do some coaching activities together and individually so that you are able to build your community with the other women who are coming to receive their transformation. So you don't have to dress up. You don't even have to put on makeup. All you have to do is get yourself there and be comfortable. We plan for you to dress for relaxation and indoor activities. I'm not going to have you hiking in the mountains or anything, but we want you to have a sense of adventure and openness as it relates to investing in a weekend just for you, your growth, your joy, and your renewal. So if you want an invitation, please email me at theteam@christopheles.com. That's THETEAM at Christopheles, CHRISTEPHALIS.com. And don't worry, I'll have this in the episode notes. So email me at theteam@christopheles.com and we will send you an invitation. I promise you that this community will be one that will enrich you. It will enrich you physically, spiritually, and mentally. And we can't wait to see you there. Join the other women who have already committed. We do have some spots open and we want to sell this out. It's going to be a small group, but we want it to be a full group. We want to make sure that every spot that we have is filled with a woman who's ready to transform her life. She's ready to rejuvenate, radiate, celebrate herself. So if that's you, send me an email and I invite you to join this erudite community of women who are committed to transforming their lives and intentionally creating the best and highest version of themselves. So, there's power in community. That's all I have to say about that. Thank you so much for joining me for another installation of Musings from the Mind of Dr. S.D.B. Thank you so much for listening to my provocative thoughts that help you to live your life in the end. I hope you learned something. I hope you felt something. But most of all, girl, I hope you do something. Fulfillment won't happen because you desire it. It will happen because you decide to go get it. Let's get it. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Living Life in the And for the successful and fulfilled woman. Please be sure to let me know what made you feel something, what you learned, and what moved you to action. Please subscribe so you don't miss out on a great conversation. And don't forget to rate and review the podcast and let me know how you are living life in the end. Life is too long to be unfulfilled. Don't keep all this goodness to yourself. Tell someone else to listen for themselves. We should all be fulfilled. Remember, your life is the product of your choices. Choose to commit to bringing the desires of your heart to completion. You don't get what you deserve until you get what you decide. Life is too long to be unfulfilled.